Hi friends, so this is the second episode of the Rasa ML chatbot series. I thought let's create a weather bot so that at the end of this entire series we will be having a fully functional weather bot where we can inquire all the weather details to the chatbot. That's the domain specific chatbot we are going to create. Just to be making it clear, why this weatherbot concept? Because I was thinking if we have an ultimate aim of creating something, then it will be like we feel accomplished at the end of the series. And to feel it more kind of planned way, I thought in each episode of this entire series, in each episode, let's have kind of a mini events. So this episode we will be concentrating on one story flow. Like I'll be saying hi to the chatbot or my weatherbot, and the weatherbot will be replying me back to hello, I'm a weatherbot, how are you? And then I will be saying that yeah, I'm good, and I will be saying my weatherbot like what's gonna be the climate for tomorrow, and weatherbot will reply like it's gonna be rainy. For now, the for this episode, I thought let's have a static reply. It is the weatherbot is not gonna take any kind of real-time data, it's going to give a static reply for now. But the weatherbot is capable of understanding my intention. If I'm going to ask like what's the weather for tomorrow, what's gonna be the weather tomorrow, or a new millennial way, tomorrow's weather, just in short form, then also the chatbot will be understanding the question and will be giving the reply saying that it's gonna be rainy tomorrow. And in the upcoming series, we will be looking on the custom functions in the Rasa ML chatbot. So that's a separate concept where we can give the capability to the weather bot to fire a real-time API to the weather forecast APIs and get the real-time data. So that if I say weather bot, what's going to be the weather for tomorrow, New York, at 10 o'clock or at afternoon, then it's going to say that, yeah, it's going to be 24 degrees Celsius. I think 24 is too much, but yeah, 20 degrees Celsius or something. So that's how we are going to focus. So let's switch into the hands-on. And now, one more thing I want to say at the end is like, I am having a GitHub account. I will be showing that, and in the GitHub account, we will be pushing the changes at the end of each series. And it's a public repo, and every one of you can contribute it to it and can pull the code and can do whatever you would like to do. Thank you. So this is my GitHub repo, and you can see a couple of repos in that GitHub account. I would suggest you to go for WeatherBot, and if you see, this is our first series code where I have created a boilerplate code with the Rasa SDK with the command Rasa in it. So that code I have been pushed. So you can get those code here, and the subsequent codes in the future series, everything will be available here. And also I thought if anyone wants to use the presentations which I am using, then they can use this Rasa keynote also. I'll be uploading the PowerPoint format very soon. Okay, so let's switch to our slide. If you remember, this was a slide in the first series which we used where I explained a couple of chatbot platforms and then how to install Rasa like a prerequisite and what's the installation procedures and set up Rasa. So just think it took just 5 minutes for us to install and set up Rasa and make the Rasa up and working. Now the point is like our mini win for this, a weather bot. Okay, I added some couple of cool animations, I think so. I would share that. So the idea is like the user, let's say you or me. I'm saying hi, and the chatbot understands the intention behind that. Okay, it's a greeting. This is the place where the chatbot is clearly saying upfront to the user that I'm a weather bot. So if you're going to ask anything related to weather, I can act reply. And if you're asking anything not related to weather, let's say gardening, let's say humanities, spirituality, all those details, as of now, I'm not capable to reply for that. I'm capable to reply anything related to WeatherBot. How may I help you? So that sets the context of the chatbot. So this is called like a domain specific chatbot where there is a domain for the chatbot to reply, to give the details, to perform the actions. So the user says, tell me about tomorrow's weather. So the chatbot understands the intention behind that. So basically, the high intention will be like a greeting. Tell me about tomorrow's weather will be like intention of knowing about the weather. So then the chatbot replies, tomorrow's weather forecast says it will be 21 degrees Celsius. It may rain as well. So that's a static reply as of now. Later we can think of firing to the APIs and getting the real-time data. So let's set up this first normal conversation flow. As I told, for every chatbot to win, we should have this kind of baby steps. So this is the way you develop a product. So let's go for a mini win like this. Now, as I told, these are all intentions. So according to the Rasa ML framework, we tag them as intent. So the intent is hi, the intent is tell me about tomorrow's weather. Now, the intent of hi is greeting, and greeting cannot be only hi. So that's the purpose of this ML, machine learning, natural language understanding capability will be imbibed here. How we will do that? I will tell you. I will give a couple of greetings to the chatbot saying that hi, hola, bro, dude, anything related to this can be of intent of greeting. So it's like a kid. I think I have told earlier, if not, yeah, please excuse me, I will tell you. So the chatbot, consider it as a kid. So for a kid, you will train the kid saying that anyone says you hi, hello, hola, it's like a greeting. So with those details, kids enter into the real-time world and kids interacts with the humans and slowly kids understand that okay, hi, hello, hola, and someone suddenly says hey, yeah. Okay, then kids knows the dictionary words. So kid checks, oh, here is also kind of hi, hello. So then it's also a greeting. So that's how there is a small kind of prediction. So I'd say to the chat, so I say to the chatbot like, hi, hola, bro, dude, is an intent. Then I'm expecting the chatbot to understand even hey should also be an intent. Okay, well and good. And then the next intent is like, tell me about tomorrow's weather. So let's give a intent customized name for this. I would say weather forecast. This is intent. So this is like weather forecast inquiry. So the thing is like, tell me about tomorrow's weather. So I will be replying like, what will be tomorrow's weather? What's gonna be tomorrow's weather? Weather tomorrow, tomorrow's weather. If I'm lazy, yeah, the millennials like us now will be asking like weather tomorrow. We don't even ask the full question. I know I am also in that category. So those kind of questions will be tagged with one intent, weather forecast. That intent should be realized by the chatbot, and then chatbot replies that weather forecast is like this. That's the whole concept of our current step. Understand the conversation flow and then tag the particular intents, whatever be the synonyms kind of thing. I would say in simpler words here, even if there is a spelling mistake, like see if you see that tomorrow I'm putting like TMRW, yeah, it's some kind of spelling mistake also. It's kind of a spelling mistake ideally, even though it's a short form. So the chatbot should understand that short forms, right? Yeah. If I'm writing spell TOMMOROW, so human will understand this guy was intending to say tomorrow. The only thing is that there is a typo, like one M extra. So that's where the ML comes. The chatbot should behave like a human. So the chatbot should understand that okay, it's not a big mistake. So let's reply according to that same intent. If you are writing a if else condition instead of this ML, just think like that. You should be having a numerous kind of if else, even considering all the combination of spelling mistakes. So that's kind of an infinite kind of permutations and combinations. That's where the ML chatbots comes into play. This is one of the very minor benefit of the chatbot. There are a lot of major benefits. We will be going into that in the upcoming series as well. So now let's switch into the hands-on. I have opened the code which we have installed last time with the Rasa init boilerplate code into the WeatherBot, and the WeatherBot is opened in the PyCharm. So PyCharm is the IDE I'm using, as the Rasa is usually it encourages and supporting the Python. So I am just doing it in the Python. So I thought PyCharm will be the suitable aspect for that. There's a folder structure here, and right now I'm not going into the entire folder structure because that will be like an overwhelming task for you. So I thought I will go into NLUMG, stories mg, and then actions.py, no, domains.yaml. So right now these three will make us accomplish our mini win. What is NLU? Natural language understanding. And what is this .md? Because .md is something like a markdown language which Rasa ML framework supports. Markdown is anything like in GitHub readme file also supports markdown language. So HTML is like more kind of improvised version of Markdown language. HTML is a hypertext markup language, and this is like a Markdown language. Very simple. You can Google it. What's the Markdown language? Very simple. It's kind of a YAML file with hash for the title, the headline, all those things. It's very simple. Not a rocket science. Here comes the hands-on part, understanding the boilerplate code. So if you see, this had a sample code to make the Rasa bot, the first Rasa bot, to make it up and run. So this sample code was imported along with the SDK Rasa init. So if you see, they had an intent called greet, and they give a couple of words. Hey, hello, hi, good morning, good evening, hey there. So basically, we are collecting the words and we are tagging with the intent here. Okay. And what's the story? Yeah, story is like a flow. So every conversation has got a start and an end, and that's a story flow. And there will be n number of stories in a conversation. So a human to human conversation, there can be n number of stories. It can be divided into n number of stories. There will be start and end, proper end. So that's how we are thinking for the chatbot also. That's define a proper approach to deal with different kind of stories. So for our weather bot, we have to define our own stories, and one story is the same which I have defined here. This is one story flow. I'll be defining here in the code per se, so that our Rasa ML framework knows this is the story flow. Now, if you see, there is a happy path, there is a sad path. So let's see, what is a happy path? Happy path means I'm giving a intention of greet. So if I say hi, the Rasa ML framework, the chat which has trained the chatbot model, so the model will be stored here automatically. So that model will take my input kind of hi, and it will check here hi. Okay, it's intent greet. Then it will go to stories. What all is there? Okay, greet is here, greet is here, and a sad path too. Yeah, two sad happy path as well as sad path too. Everything has got greet. If in fact, yeah. So these three stories starts with greet. Okay, well, good. Anyways, the reply is like utter greet. So utter greet is something the chatbot is replying. So whenever a chatbot replies, I will tag it with utter underscore, so that it is very clear for the Rasa ML framework that whatever starts with utter underscore is for the chatbot, whatever starts for the intent is for the user. It makes easier. So in fact, if you see, the intent is for user, here utter is for chatbot. This is a very basic fundamental stuff you should know when you write the Rasa ML framework based chatbot code. Now, I have defined an intent here. Now, where I have defined my utter, okay, that's defined in the domain.yaml. So, utter greet, if you say, hey, how are you? My chatbot will be replying, hey, how are you? Then I will be saying, like, okay, I will be saying something like, for example, perfect or very good or great. It's awesome, great. So, I will be saying great. Then it will, okay, then when I say great, it will map it to the mood greet intent, and it will check in the stories. Okay, I have greet here, I have greet here, I have greet here. Then where is the mood greet? I don't have it here, I don't have it here, I have it here. Okay, well, I'm confident, the chatbot is confident enough that it's a happy path the user is going to be. Then mood great. Then what happens? I want to utter happy. It goes great, chatbot replies, the great, carry on. That's all. The story ends as of now. So there's one small story flow, and the chatbot is modeled or trained in such a way that to understand my intention, utter accordingly, and create a normal, sensible flow. Now, let's dive into how we can imbibe our story flow into here. I'll be keeping greet. I can keep goodbye. Phone, I don't think so. I will just, what I will say that I will delete all this, in fact, because we need everything from the scratch. Or in fact, I will delete goodbye also. Let's have this so that we stick to the syntax conventions. Even path, I will just take only one path as of now. Domain, I will just keep only one utter. Session config, yeah, this is for the session expiration time like 60 seconds. I will get into these details later. For now, it's not required. Intents, we have to register all the intents here, the domain.yaml. I think that's something we can improve in Rasa ML framework. I think so, because it should understand the intents from here, ideally, right? Okay, not an issue. I think in the domain.yaml, it's very kind of sensible to keep it everything here at one place in the domain.yaml. So at one shot, if I go to domain.yaml, I know what all the intents the chatbot is able to understand and what all kind of responses. Yeah, in that way, if I think, yeah, it's good. So let's go for a weather bot. I'll be writing one weather bot story flow. So story flow 1, right? But I'm not going to keep story flow 1. So this is story flow. So a good product development is like make sensible variable names, as you all know. So how I will be doing, I will be saying weather enquiry. That's one story flow, right? Star space. It starts with a greet and it replies utter greet. So these both are defined as of now. I'm in a very good situation. I don't have to write any code. Just kidding. So now greet, utter greet to the story. Here I have greeting, I greet reply. So greet is something mapped to, greet is something which is mapped to hey, hello, hi, hola, bro. So let me put hola also. Yeah, I will just remove this purposefully. I'll tell you why. Bro, dude. Basically what I do is that I will check the synonyms in the internet, and that will be already there knowing the chatbot, because we have imported the spacey library, right? So the spacey is kind of knows all kind of synonyms. So rather than that, I will check the synonyms and I will see, okay, then I will recollect in normal conversation a human what all can be said, because bro, dude are not like synonyms for the greeting, but people usually use, right? So that's how you know in the real time world what all the people can put in the conversation across a chatbot. Now I have a greet, I have auto greet in the domain.yaml, right? Yeah, auto greet. So that's something like, hey, hello, I'm a weather bot. So hey, how are you? So what I can do is that I will say utter introduction, means it's a self introduction, right? So utter self introduce, self intro. Just keep it like this, self intro. Now I will say text. I'll just copy paste this line. Hello, I'm a weather bot. Then the say comes, how may I help you? Because my chatbot is not going to ask how are you, all those details. The chatbot is domain specific. The intention of my chatbot is not to make you feel happy like the normal Rasa ML sample chatbot. That intention was to understand your emotions. My chatbot's domain is of WeatherBot. So let's stick to our domain. Always don't get deviated. So that's how when we define a story flow, we will also be having a clear mindset what our chatbot is going to do at each step. Hey, how may I help you? Now other greet comes. Now the intent comes. I will say weather enquiry. So weather enquiry. Then I will reply utter weather forecast. Okay. So I think this is good now. Now Let's define this. Weather inquiry is here. Intent, it has to start with intent and then my intent's name, and then I will be giving the same. Tell me about tomorrow's weather. These are the few intents I thought of. You can, if you have n number of ideas on how the humans can ask the weather, then that would be really great. So just think, more data and more good data is really awesome. So what I prefer is that even if you give a 20 or 100 data, make sure that that is a really good data. There is no noise. Noise means irrelevant data that will really badly affect your chatbot training. So it's like a kid, as I told. If you teach a kid like 2 plus 3 equal to 7, then after 5 years, 6 years, the kid will think 2 plus 3 equal to 7. Then, yeah, 3 plus 3 should be kind of 8. So that's how it has got a very bad repercussions in the chatbot training. Like a kid, if you train it with wrong data, so always make sure that even if you give a minimal information, make sure that that information is really clean. Here we go, intent weather inquiry. Now I will take the utter weather forecast. I have to reply, right? This is my reply, right? Rain as well. Okay, we are good now. That's it. Is it really? That's it? Yeah. I think I missed one small part. There is a new intent which I have to register here. So if you see the domain.yaml, it's very clear about the domain of the chatbot. The intents are this, the responses are this. The mapping is done in the stories, and each intent mapping is done in the NLU. I think this is good as of now. Utter self intro. I should have put it here. Yeah, forget a lot of things. See, so greet will start with utter self intro. Hey, I'm a weatherbot, and then I say utter greet. How may I help you? Then utter weather forecast. Yeah, this looks good actually. I think. Yeah, let's see now. Now I will go to the terminal. Let me see which folder I am in. Yeah, I am in this weatherboard folder. I think I have to initiate the virtual environment so that my training has got its libraries. So, yeah, so if you see the Rasa virtual environment where I've installed all the required libraries are there. Now I will do a Rasa init. Sorry, I think I missed it. Rasa train. So this understands our new changes, this trains the model, and the new model will be kept here. Okay, so I have got this error, utter happy. Somewhere I've used utter happy. Okay, yeah, in the stories I've used the utter happy, which I have not used anywhere. I will just disable this as of now because we have something already in story. Rasa train. Cool, it's training. So in the machine learning if you already know, these are the approaches. So every approach, it will consider it as a batch and it will train the model with the training data which we have given. That story flow is the training data, in fact. So it will take a couple of minutes based on your machine capability. So if the machine is very low in configuration, it will take a couple of minutes. If the machine is really good in configuration, then it will take a couple of seconds. But it's not something like it will take hours as of now. I think that model is trained and it's saved at the models. Cool. We have the new one here. I will just say Rasa shell. Now what Rasa shell is going to do is that this is going to pop up the command line interface where I can interact with my chatbot and can see whether the chatbot is trained as per my aspect. Our mini win is like to define the story flow and the chatbot should understand the story flow, right? Yeah. Let's see. Hi. Hello, I'm a WeatherBot. Hi, how may I help you? Cool. So tell me about tomorrow's weather. Tomorrow's weather focus says it will be 21 degrees Celsius, rain as well. Amazing. Stopping this. But it is the XML. This can be done with the if-else condition in a normal program, right? I'll tell you. Meanwhile, if you see, have purposefully disabled hello, correct? Let me put hello here. Hello. See, it knows hello is mapped to greeting, right? That's amazing, right? It has not mapped to the intent weather inquiry or something. It has mapped meaningful. Now, the next amazing part. Tell me about tomorrow's weather. Let's me put so many mistakes. I'm saying tell about tomorrow weather, bro. See, that's the part. Tomorrow's weather forecast says it will be 21 degrees Celsius. It may rain as well. That's how the chatbot is. It neglects the small kind of typos and it tries to understand the intents what it has in the DB to the enquiries you do. So it tries what is the best possibility score fitting which intent it has to fit and it will try to do. And the more you train, the more the chatbot is going to fit properly. That's how the chatbot is trained with a very nice data. It gives a very nice performance. Now, here we have a small advantage. We have defined only one story. The complication arises when we have more stories. We will be doing that in the upcoming sessions, but as of now, if you have seen, we have defined our weather bot. We have defined one story flow, and that story flow executes if you define little bit kind of typos in that questions. I think it's really good, right? Okay, I will be pushing this code in the GitHub. Let's push the code as well. Defining our defining the first story flow for WeatherBot. Okay, cool. It has been done. Let's switch to GitHub. See, the 3 commits has been increased to 4 commits. And the models, I should have 2 models as of now. Yeah, the one is the Rasa init boilerplate code, it's a sample chatbot, and second is my cool, the story flow model. Okay, that's it for today. It's a little large session, I know, but I think it's interesting, right? Give me feedback. Thank you.